Okay, we are back and quickly taking a look at the latest with Helldivers because we've got bits of update news flying in, and the way it's looking, Helldivers is not only back, but it's about to blow up. But is it enough? That's what I want to find out today. Welcome to the channel. This is LtBuzzLitebeer, and we have a new and lengthy major order, which of course we need to look over, but the big drop came from Arrowhead when they discussed the 60-day plan, the short delay, but more importantly, what else they've got cooking. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. In case you are new here, please take just a moment to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. And here we go once again with our favorite managed democracy spreading shooter, Helldivers. Okay, very quickly for today, and disclaimer up front, this is completely unscripted, but you know how I like to roll, so we're going to start off with the world-famous 30-second Superstore reset. This is good for about the next 16 hours or so. So first up, we've got the FS11 Executioner Heavy Body Armor with Fortified for reduced recoil when crouching or prone, and also provides 50% resistance to explosive damage. Of course, you can also pick up the matching FS11 Executioner Helmet. You can also pick up the fighter pilot-esque CM21 Trench Paramedic Helmet, and one of my personal favorite body armors, the hybrid light-medium Trench Paramedic with medkit on it for increased initial inventory and holding capacity of stems by +2, but also don't sleep on that increased stem effect duration by 2 seconds. And as always, the Superstore Center uses super creds. And now over to the galactic table, and as always, as one major order ends, another one begins. We're again being deployed back over to Bugsville, and we have a brand new briefing. It says, the scientists at the Xenoentomology Center on Turing, say that 3 times really fast, have been assiduously working to develop high-efficiency Alcubierre drives. These drives, once developed, will endow the Democracy Space Station with faster-than-light travel capabilities. However, research progress is currently bottlenecked by the number of terminid specimens available. Seems like a good problem to have. Additionally, the advent of the DSS will drastically increase our E710 requirements. Therefore, High Command has ordered the establishment of a terminid research preserve on Akamar 4. Terminids will be seeded into tightly controlled areas on Akamar 4, allowed to develop naturally but kept in check by a robust network of electrified fences. Yeah, I guess they haven't watched any of the Starship Troopers movies, right? What happens with those electric fences? Research teams stationed within the preserve will be able to requisition terminid specimens as needed, aided by SEAF bug wardens. In the future, the preserve can be expanded to provide not only research specimens, but also easy-to-acquire E710. The Helldivers are to establish and maintain a strict planetary quarantine around Akamar 4, isolating the preserve from the greater terminid host. While this endeavor may present risks, it is necessary for the construction of the DSS and the long-term security of managed democracy itself. Okay, so with all the lingo out of the way from that Helldivers HQ dispatch, what does this actually translate to? What will the Helldivers have to do? Well, here it is. This is a 7-day major order, which we're currently about 10 hours into. 7 days over in Bugsville, so all you bug divers out there, you get 7 days of killing your favorite targets. This is a 5-planet major order. We need to hold all 5 of these, or we don't complete the major order. Listen to these planets: Kremsica, Turing, Darius 2, Pandion 24, and Gkrux, which I think 4 of the 5 of those sound like pretty standard planets that we've had to hold time and time again. And of course, if we finish this up, we pocket those 55 medals. But definitely more important than just the medals is the successful completion of this major order and the continuation of the construction of the DSS. And while we're over here on the galactic map, we might as well check in on today's daily or personal order. And if you're looking to pocket an easy 15 medals, today's your day. All you have to do is successfully extract with 10 common samples. And as always, this is shared across your squad. But the big and breaking news for today, and obviously the main topic for today's video, and the reason that I'm uploading this video, is the fact that the 60-day plan has been delayed just by a few days. Now, it was set to actually expire tomorrow on a Saturday, and we know from previous history that Arrowhead does not patch the game over the weekends. Their chosen patch days are on Tuesday, which they have announced they have pushed the next balance patch over to next Tuesday. And we also got just a few little hints as to what to expect in this second balance patch coming to us from Johan and Nicholas. So let's take a look at that, and then I'm going to be back with some thoughts.
My name is Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Malmborg.
So, 60 days, but we didn't look at the calendar.
What day is the 60 days?
It's on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And we don't patch during weekends because we don't want to break the game while you're playing the game. We have decided to release the 60-day patch on day 63. That's going to be on a Tuesday.
Even though it's a weekend between here and the patch, we'll leave you with some sneak peeks of our most exciting changes. We introduced flak to the autocannon.
Recoilless rifle has also received programmable ammo.
The Scorcher, and it actually has automatic fire.
One of the nicest changes here is to the stalwart.
With your backpack function, you can recall and let out your drone, so you don't want to finish too fast.
No, and I know all about that.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so let's talk about several of these changes they just revealed right there, because some of these sound really insane to me. First off, the autocannon gets flak. That one sounds really cool. The recoilless rifle gets programmable ammo. I wonder what they mean by programmable. In fact, that might be a great question for chat. What do you think they mean by programmable? Is this something we'll be able to guide to our target, like the commando, or will it be just different ammo types, maybe for like a bunker buster type, or maybe just a high yield explosive type? That would be definitely something cool to try out. The Scorcher, one of my favorite weapons versus the bots. Unfortunately, it was causing carpal tunnel syndrome just from the semi-auto clicks on the mouse. Now it gets a full auto mode. I wonder if they're going to beef up the ammo on that. I guess we'll wait and see on Tuesday. They mentioned the Stalwart. They said one of the best changes is to the Stalwart, but they didn't say anything else about it. I love the Stalwart, especially versus the bugs. Maybe they're upping the armor pen or something like that. But once again, great question for chat. What do you think they're going to do to the Stalwart? And then they kind of tease something about the backpack, like the drones. You can recall them and deploy your drones out. I have no idea what they're thinking there. Do all the drones now have like a certain battery life, like the Guard Dog Rover, where the laser will shoot for a while and then it has to come back and recharge? We all know about the Liberator Guard Dog, where it constantly has to come back and reload. But man, some interesting changes just kind of teased right there. And I expect, just taking a look at the amount of pages that they had up on the screen there, there's a lot more. In fact, you can see on the very back page, it just says fixes, but I expect there to be even more changes packed into Tuesday's patch. But is it going to be enough? And that's the question that I wanted to talk about today, because remember, Helldivers launched back on February 8th, and at launch, it was this epic journey of powerful explosions, gruesome deaths, crazy ragdolls, and some of the most meme-worthy moments in gaming history. But again, that was at launch, when the game was in its honeymoon phase with gamers. March rolled around and we got our first taste of conflicting messages from the studio. Not only were we met with the very first round of nerfs to player favorites, but there was also this odd blog post telling us that we were playing the game wrong, as it tried to explain what the vision for Helldivers truly was. From there, it was a constant roller coaster ride of occasional buffs but heavy-handed nerfs, driving the player base into a comatose state of near death. Remember, Helldivers was seeing player counts that were near flatline just a few months ago because the fun, meme-driven horde shooter we had purchased had been turned into a sweat lord grind where the players were severely underpowered and even the slightest mistakes meant instant death. From March to September, we were met with this constant and consecutive string of odd tweaks and nerfs, and it wasn't until mid-September that we saw our first signs of a return to form. The Buff Diver update Part 1 had arrived with sweeping changes touching every corner of the game. Now, it wasn't and still isn't perfect, but it was a complete 180 to what the game had become, and more importantly, the fun factor had returned to Helldivers. But again, the question is, was that enough? Will this coming Tuesday's Part 2 Buff Diver patch be enough? Now, for many divers that lost interest during that 6-month grind to hell, the answer is no. You can buff the weapons back up to or past pre-launch levels. You can improve the stability. You can do this, that, and the other. But for these players, until they get this, they aren't coming back. Now, of course, I'm talking about new content. Since launch, it's been bots or bugs, and the same round of missions over and over again. Evacuate, terminate, blitz, spread democracy time and time again. And besides the occasional inclusion of specialty campaigns, like those TCS missions for example, the game loop has remained largely unchanged. I've spoken with many former divers who have now left the game. These could range anywhere from somebody who's put in 50 to 60 hours up to hundreds of hours. And for these players, they find the buffs interesting, but they're not interesting enough to bring them back to Helldivers. They want and need more. They want a new faction. I mean, we've been hearing about the Illuminate for what feels like a year. When will it happen? What about underground or cityscape biomes? When will there be a meaningful progression system added to the game? How about weapon customization or armor color mods? The things that take a live service game and kind of carry it well past the point of playing the content. Players have been hearing whispers and rumors for months now. And again, the question is, when? Arrowhead struck pure gold with Helldivers 2, far beyond what they dreamed of, and after 6 months of a slow trudge to misery and basically no players, they've now brought the game back to, again, what it was at launch. Now it's time to progress past that baseline. Let me know where you stand on all of this, because it's the kind of discussion that needs to be had. It's not about being spoiled, it's not about being greedy, but more about putting high expectations on a studio and a game that has exceeded all metrics and forecasts. If new content arrives, possibly with Tuesday's patch, but more than likely, if at all, with the Liberty Day drop later this month, will that be enough to pull you back into Helldivers? Leave me a comment and let's talk. But for now, let's shift over to your top 3 comments. And as always, if you want to see your name and comment up in lights in my next Helldivers video, you first need to take just a few seconds and leave a comment on this video. And who knows, it might just get upvoted enough so that you see it featured in our next top 3 breakdown. Anyways, coming to us in the top spot for this one is Funkman12345. And this is an awesome message. Listen to this. Just want to say that I'm a husband, father of 3 beautiful children, working at a tough physical blue-collar job, but every morning I'm up at 4 a.m. to play this game. I've been a fan of gaming all my life, and I've never been more faithful to a game than this one. For democracy, friends. Amen, Funkman12345. There's nothing more I can add to this, and congrats on taking the top spot. That's a message of positivity that just doesn't require anything more on my side. In the number 2 spot is, oh boy, T. Baroon with a timestamp that says 10:55, and they're quoting me from the last video. It says, I still get blown or sucked. LtBuzzLitebeer 2024. Yikes. No comment needed on this one either. And coming to us in the 3rd spot, bringing up the caboose for this breakdown, is Otizis. Hopefully I said that correctly and I didn't butcher your name. Their comment says, personally, I enjoyed the sneaky stalkers. Hearing someone scream on mic, we've got stalkers, as they died was pure gold every time. And don't you worry, because there's still plenty of enemies that I found in the game that seem to not have any sort of sound cues, or if they do have sound cues, they're severely muted. So you're going to still get those moments, don't you worry. And congrats to all the top 3 in this breakdown. All right, I know this video came out extra late today, and I apologize for that. We're still kind of getting our bearings from Hurricane Milton, But as always, leave me a comment, leave me some feedback, and I'll do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and to ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my socials, including links to all of today's sources, can be found down in the video description. Shout out to the now over 245,000 of you incredible ladies and gents from across the planet who've already taken the plunge, you've hit subscribe, and you tune in daily to support me and the channel. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.